Hello, and welcome to the Banker's Tech Talk video series looking at the developments in the fintech community. I'm Joy Macknight, Deputy and Technology Editor at The Banker, and I'm joined by Maria Scott, CEO of Taina Technology, a London-headquartered RegTech startup. Maria, thanks so much for joining us today.
It's great to be here. I love Tech Talk.
Can you tell me a little bit about why you think RegTech is so important for banks today?
There's a number of factors, and they've been evolving over the years. It's not one thing. Clearly, increasing complexity of our regulatory frameworks is one. That increases the cost. Secondly, now our boards are very focused on our regulatory compliance, as they should be. Finally, now we have challenger banks coming through and challenging our incumbents on two fronts: costs and customer experience. And a good RegTech solution can essentially attack all of those pain points. And I think so it's really an inevitable natural evolution, not a revolution, but evolution that's happening and will continue to happen.
Okay, and how did you start Taina, and sort of what were the reasonings behind it?
So what Taina does is we help financial institutions to comply with very important regulations. They're global regulations that governments around the world have introduced in consultations with each other to combat tax evasion. What we do is we help financial institutions comply with these regulations in a streamlined way. We automate manual processes for them, essentially helping them save costs, reduce operational hassle, free up the valuable compliance officers to do higher risk, higher complexity stuff which they should be doing. As well as addressing the back office pain, we are also looking at the other side of this coin, which is the customer experience and the customer journey, and helping customers essentially complete these forms correctly in the first place, eliminating the frustration, the cost of chasing them. And so from both sides, from a customer experience and the back office, we are addressing that coin. Now, the reason I started it, I'm a tax lawyer. I spent most of my life with a global financial institution, and when you are in that space, it's kind of obvious. So it wasn't even, a dilemma, just something we had to do.
Okay, and I know you use artificial intelligence. Why do you think that AI is really a game changer in RegTech?
I think RegTech is very special because AI and technology in RegTech is always going to be a means to an end. It's an enabler. I do not think we're ever going to be in the world where important regulatory decisions are taken by black boxes, by algorithms where they don't understand. AI is a game changer in RegTech because it allows compliance officers to automate things that are manual, that are grunt work. And for us, it is image recognition, it's reading documents in an intelligent way. But I always think that with RegTech, it's never going to be funky technology, chasing a problem. Our customers don't really care, do we use AI or abacus? What they care about is, do you understand the regulations and can you help my pain? And I think AI ultimately has a future here.
Okay, and obviously the UK is on the cusp of Brexit. You can't get away from it in the news and things like that. Do you think Brexit will have an impact on the fintech community in London?
Brexit is a huge challenge. We're kidding ourselves if we think that Brexit will not affect London's capital status of fintech in the world. But I think we have an opportunity as a country, as an industry, to address this challenge in a way that will make London stronger in the long run. What can we do? If we focus on the things that we're really worried about, like talent, if we as a country now were to make a decision, actually we're going to make it easier for global outstanding technology talent to come here. That would be a huge boost for the London ecosystem. Similarly, capital, people are worried about the inflow of capital. Actually, capital flows after the good businesses, after good founders, after talent. And if we continue to be, as we are, welcoming, open-minded and international in our outlook, with great tax system, great regulation, welcoming international founders coming in here and, helping this country prosper, then actually, Brexit or no Brexit, capital will continue to flow as well. And so is the London ecosystem. Ultimately, we all part of it and we can have a role to play in protecting it.
Okay, my last question is really around, as a woman in a very male-dominated sort of environment, have you had any specific challenges in terms of funding? And if you have, how did you overcome them?
RegTech again is quite different. You're only going to accept funding as a RegTech from someone who really understands the problem, the solution, the roadmap, and how you're going to get there. That is a space for a very experienced, very sophisticated investor. And in my experience, actually, in that particular segment of investors, there is no scope for noise. These people do not care what color or persuasion you are, as long as you can build a strong team, you understand the solution, you know how to execute against your milestones. And I think the future is very bright. The future is very bright for RegTech, and the future is very bright for female founders. I'm seeing a lot of very strong women coming up as heads of risk, head of compliance, and also business leaders. And when I'm through with this in 10, 20 years time, I'm going to be helping female and male startups doing the same. And so I think that virtuous cycle will continue to evolve. And so I think the future is really bright.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your insights, Maria.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.